GM friends, and thanks for joining DeFi-Logic's TA Tuesday every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. As a member of the DeFi-Logic server, you can join our call every week, request chart reviews, and discuss the charts in real time. Check out the link in the video description. In today's community call, we'll review charts for EDU, which is a project called Open Campus, Gala Games, MEVFREE, UNIBOT, Bitcoin ETH, the crypto market cap without Bitcoin and ETH, and for legacy markets, S&P 500, NDQ or NASDAQ 100 ETF, US 10-year bonds, US dollar index or DXY, and US stock market volatility index or VIX. And with that, I will hand it off to you, Eddie.
Right, we are back. So I want to just do a quick recap, start off on FBT because we looked at this last week and I actually bought some of it. So remember, we basically were entering as I was retesting this area, and then I said it could go down to this purple box. There currently, it's not looking the greatest, but it's not looking the worst. It's still doing what we need it to. Would love to see some buyers stepping up, but if it starts to lose these levels, I'm going to be out of the trade. So we'll see. It needs to turn around quick. So I was really the only one for, we'll recap some other stuff too, but let's take a look at Theopetra. So it's a real estate protocol that owns properties in the US and derives value from rental income. Daily Dose Research is in the Discord server forum, and the team has announced an upcoming change to the tokenomics that will most likely shift the gamification elements of the project. Super cool idea. Let's see what the chart looks like. So there's no volume at all on this. You can just tell by like the choppy price action, and it's just very hard to get everything in one screen. The highest time frame I can get it all on here to fit, I think, was a 30-minute, maybe the 1 hour. Let's check real quick. Oh, the 1 hour looks okay. So let's play with this. We've got a key level here currently. So I like this zone right here. See if I can scroll all the way over to where we were. It's just so hard to get this chart in one screen. Hold on. Especially with these low caps, it's not going to be super precise. So I'm not sure exactly how long ago the new tokenomics were announced, but I'd imagine it happened fairly recently because you see all these buyers stepping up. So it's tough to call. I guess you can buy some and see what happens with the change, but the structure is just terrible. It just looks so bad. Other than that, so if you believe in what the team is doing and you have some money that you don't care if it goes to zero, right here's a pretty decent spot to buy it. However, it just looks bad in my opinion. Outside of that, in order for me to start getting bullish on it, I would want at least a reclaim of this level. I did go that way. So this is one of those situations where it's like I'd rather buy higher because then you're confirming. So that's what I would look for. Other than that, hopefully the team knows what they're doing because, in my opinion, this is looking pretty rough currently. So let's go to EDU. Open Campus announced a partnership with TinyTap AI, and it's a community-led education protocol to build a decentralized campus. EDU is trending on CoinGecko. I think this was one of those Binance Launchpad coins, if I remember correctly. And it just was down only since launch. So like when I see a coin like this, I'm just wondering, okay, how much allocation did the seed round get and at what price? Because it seems like they've just been selling only, right? Doesn't look great. If we reclaim this level, I think it's a buy though. So until then, I probably wouldn't touch it personally. Gets up there, then you can go and you can start targeting some of these highs. But until then, it just looks like one of those coins that nobody cares about and you should not be touching. Sorry for fans of this coin. Just not looking good. But that's kind of the plan. Anything lower time frame, maybe down here. What is this, the 12 hour? So maybe if you see one of the setups form down here, sweep these lows, sweep them again, come back in, market structure break, go up. You want to take profit around here. And obviously here at this main level, you'll have to take profit. So it's 2 trades. And you could leave a small position left to see if we do reclaim. But for me, the main idea is I need these lows to be reclaimed before it gets exciting. Then if it get retest, then we just aim for all these highs. That's my view on EDU. I am curious to learn about the investors though, because they only sell. And hopefully they're almost out. If they're out, then cool. Gala Games offers blockchain-based games where players own assets and influence development, all powered by a decentralized network of player-run nodes, and is currently trending on CoinGecko. So it sounds like a good thing. I had heard by someone that I respect in the trading community, that they distribute an ungodly amount of these coins every single day. You can tell when you look at the chart, it's just been performing really bad lately. Let me go on the weekly, so because I know this was around since last bull market, and you can just see like this is rough. But can we get excited about it? So here's our key lows. I'll actually do it this way instead. Same thing as EDU. If you believe in this project long term, you can just buy your spot bag and just wait until if it ever sees another bull market again. You have some established lows currently, but it's also fighting with them right now. So there's a chance it makes a new low, and then you'd want to probably purchase once it reclaims. So I'd rather buy higher on confirmation than just buy and pray, because when you buy and pray, you see your money go to zero. But when you buy on confirmation, at least you know there's other people who are interested in this project too. And it gives you a place to invalidate your idea, right? So it seems like it might make new lows. If it does, you'd buy the reclaim of it, or just let it do the sideways action for a while until it comes up above here. Then you can have some fun again, right? Aim for probably here and higher, but we're talking this is going to take a year to play out. So that's not anything. I'm looking at the weekly time frame. Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough chart to look at. Let me see if there's anything more actionable on a lower time frame. This still looks bad. Let me erase these lines, because I do see something that you can take for a really short-term play. I'd have to check the volume on this, like as far as what they're running per day, but I imagine there's not a whole lot in it. So if you're trading with a little bit, it's fine, but you got a little setup playing out right here. So we have these lows, they've been swept, and we're trying to break the structure on it right now. I think we might have technically broken it. No, almost though. So you could just buy some, make this your low, target some of these levels just for a short-term play. But other than that, I think Gala also looks pretty rough. I'm just the bad news guy today, it sounds like. Let's look at MEVFREE though. I know everybody loves MEVFREE. We looked at it last time, and I was saying I wouldn't buy it here unless it flips these highs, and that there's a chance that it just spikes up and dies, and that it's going to visit these lows and potentially these ones. And that's basically what happened. We've tapped into these ones already. It looks like it's trying to recover a little bit here, but I still think it's going to come down lower, to be honest. There's no new buyers showing up. I usually don't look at volume unless it's these low caps. I like to look at it. And as you can see, it's just been slowly dying. Let's see, MEVFREE offers a suite of tools that protect traders and allow for the MEV, maximum extractable value, with various products and services. Revenue sharing will go live in a week, with 3 more bots launching in September. So I know the MEV protection is super important, especially with on-chain stuff, and revenue sharing going live in a week makes this a little bit more exciting. Let me erase all this and come up with a new plan. So I still think this area is fine, and we're in it now. So I think with that news coming up, it's tough because I still feel like it could trade lower. Even though I deleted that plan, I still feel that way about it. Like, just why not? Why not come lower and come get this area too? But that is some pretty bullish catalyst coming up. So I would say if you're watching this and we're still trading above the spots, wait for it to dip down into it again, because it's probably going to come back into it again. If you look at this daily candle, it's a bottomless wick, which usually those get filled. It's just inefficient price action. So it's got to come down here and take these lows out again, at the very minimum, in my opinion. If it doesn't, let's just say this is like the coolest thing ever and everybody just starts buying it like crazy and you start losing your entries. Then at that point, I'd want to wait for at least to get some closes above this low at the bare minimum. Really, even this one is the high that I want, because that's the high that created the low. So same kind of ideas as last time. Here's our new get above area to get bullish. We need to see it get above here, and then you can start buying it. Or wait for it to take these out, potentially buy some of your position here, and then if it gets lower, buy the rest of your position here, and then hope that everybody else starts to like it as well. Seems like a really good product, though. Seems like a super great tool. And if you believe that the team will deliver and the market will understand that this is great, this isn't a bad spot to load up. So yeah, those are the ideas. Reclaim these levels, buy a little bit here with ammo to get lower, like even this spot right here. I'd buy some right there too. Maybe a third, or however you want to break it down.
Yeah, the one thing on MEVFREE real quick is that when the revenue sharing goes live, I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to this right now. I'm very bearish on it too. I swung traded from, I don't remember, like 15 cents all the way to 39. But when revenue sharing goes live, they already have a really fat treasury wallet that they're going to be paying out of. So it's like they're generating millions because it's not just the overlay dApp that they have for the MEV stuff and to check if it's a honeypot and all that stuff. They also have the Telegram bot to onboard people. So when you go to these new Telegram channels, you'll see the MEV portal bot that's checking to make sure that you're a human to keep spammers and bots out of these various Telegram groups. So they're generating revenue in multiple ways. But yeah, we'll see. Because I feel like you're spot on with the TA here, just personally. And the FA in this market might not move it as much as other markets. So
Yeah, I think it's a great project, but it's just a matter of, are the participants willing to buy for it? So we'll have to see what happens with it. That's for sure.
definitely.
All right. So next up, UNIBOT. So it's down 60% from all-time high due to some FUD, alleging founders are associated with other rug pulls and failed projects in the space. DeFi-Logic analysts are publishing reports throughout the week on the project, and daily dose write-ups are available in the Discord server. So if you're not in here, check that out. See what this looks like, though. I remember like everybody was super excited about UNIBOT. It's the same kind of thing as MEVFREE. I'm sure you could probably correct me, but it's just like a Telegram bot that helps you play low caps. That's my very small understanding of it. But same thing, like, look, this it's doing the whole like McDonald's thing, right? It just looks bad, but let's check it out though. Let's see if we're at a buying opportunity. Let me go to the daily really quick. So it's just hard whenever like you see this going on, like someone like twop buying. Hard to read what's going to happen in that area. Was that one large person? Was it a bunch of people? Was it like a paid group? Who knows? Weekly says it wants to come down here to me. So I think it'd go even lower. And then if that's the case, how much is that from all-time highs? About 82-ish%. So it's definitely a spot to buy. I think UNIBOT does have a future, but I think short term, you don't want to be a buyer here. I do feel like this is going to test whoever these people are for sure. And I don't know, this just seems like a magnet to me. I think it's going to come down here. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. And then here's the level to flip for bullishness. Like, so much better just to buy on confirmation than to just buy and hope it goes up, guys. Like, unless you want to lose money. But at least some closes above there for you to get excited about again. Closes up here, you can buy. Or down here. That's all I've got to say on that for now. Let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin disappointed me last week. So we looked at it and we had news like almost every day in here, these markets. So it's hard to keep track of it all. But something happened and price went up. I don't remember exactly what it was at the moment. And then I was saying, okay, I want to see this SR level held. And this is the great thing about not just buying, especially right now. So if we're in the bull market, you could just leave your bids here. It would have got bought up and it would have done this. It would have done new local highs. We're in like a bear market. We're in like a ranging market. We're just in a market that's not bullish, that's for sure. So it didn't work. So that's why I always say we need the market structure breaks in order to do things, because it avoids you from losing all this money. If you would have just bought, you would have got stopped out, or you would have been stubborn and you're still holding and you're so upside down right now. That's what I was looking at last week, and it did not play out. However, I didn't buy because we needed the triggers. I'm actually in a short right now. So let's erase this and kind of talk about what's going on. So I actually shorted it like around when it retested this level here. I usually don't like to play mid-range shorts because that's basically what this is, right? So if you do a very low time frame range, I shorted the mid-range, right? Which I usually don't like to do, but the invalidation was so next to my entry. Like I want to say I'm like 25.7 something. So I'm like in right around here. My invalidation is like right there. So it was just something that I wanted to go for. And I'm basically targeting all these lows right here. And then if it goes lower than that, my next target is these ones down here are my next target. So that's what I'm looking for next. I think this goes a little bit lower, shorting it from basically where we're at now, target 1, target 2. Let's see if it happens. If it invalidates, there's a chance that it comes up here, up into this level. But if it does, I think that's a short, and you're looking for the same lows that I'm looking for currently. Going on a lower time frame, I don't really see this happening at all right now. Like it could, right? Anything can happen, but actually this is starting to bottom out a little bit too. So I could get stopped out and it could trade up here, but I'd be looking for shorts up here if it does. There's a lot of levels that needs to flip in order to get bullish. I just think that this needs to go down, which is sad to see, but it is what it is. So let me erase these and just make them look nicer really quick. Actually, no, this has my ideas in there. That's what we're looking for. Lower prices. Potentially it pops up, but you'd be looking for shorts in this level for sure. That's Bitcoin. Ethereum looks the same, but we'll look at it for fun. This is how you know that there's not many market participants, because they all look the same, right? So same thing. Last time I was hoping that it would catch a bid right here and go up. It did not. It is what it is. Same idea though here. Let me go on a weekly level. Ethereum is actually reading a bit clearer too on it. So like you can really see why that was such a good short to take if you took it. I just feel like it's going to be coming down lower as well. Like why not come after this low right here? And potentially even these ones down here. In order for you to get excited about it, it's got to at least take out this high. Flip this. It's got to flip this. It's just, I don't think it's going to happen. You guys will get to buy cheaper Ethereum this year or into next year for sure. There's no trade at the moment. You're not already short from right here. It could pop up again. Same thing as Bitcoin. If it comes up into this level, anywhere around here, anywhere between this candle all the way up to the top of it, you'll want to look for that bearish price action stuff, right? SFP, a market structure break, etc. But I do think it's going to go lower. At least these lows in the short term, most likely these ones in the longer, higher time frame areas. Potentially even down here again, but we'll see. There's a lot of levels that I can get bullish on again. But for now, short term, lower, I think. Unless you flip this level, then you can gap up to here and see what happens from there, but we'll see. It's got a lot of work to do. And then let's look at the total 3 again. Total 3 looks just like Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's funny because this is supposed to be excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, but that just shows you, again, like there's just not much money into this market right now. So we're still looking fine as far as the high time frame accumulation that we've been looking at. It's doing the exact same thing. Still holding this like upper, whatever, I don't remember exactly what this was. I think it was probably the OTE maybe of this big range, or it was around the mid-range of this smaller range. I don't remember, but it's holding above it. But it just looks like a more choppy Bitcoin and Ethereum now. Look at these dailies. It's so funny. Nothing really to look at here. It's just doing its thing. So same stuff. It's just going to keep ranging. And again, like I mentioned last time, there's a chance that it deviates there. And if it does, then buy whatever you want to buy at that point, with that being your new, with this being your new spot to get out of. But I think that's it for me for today. So
we have one request that I overlooked in the server. Cryptix was asking if you could run metal. So the guy had basically, the dev has an algorithm to snipe launches, and whatever the criteria is, there's a bunch of 5x, 10x, a lot of rugs too, but it sounds like the project has a lot of potential in terms of getting in early and flipping these real shit coins. So
20 days old. Let's look at this bad boy. Oh, here we go. It's going to come here. It's almost there. See it hold this daily demand. It's quite large, but you have to make them large for coins like this. So you want to see it hold here. What I would probably do is once you see it tap into it, I would just buy some and then maybe just break it down where like your, just layer your buys in, right? That way you can DCA throughout it. And then once you get down here, you just pray for a bit. If it goes that low, then it starts to go back up. Because if it loses that area, I don't know, everyone has their own strategies for stuff like this. But if it loses this area, for me, I'm like, okay, well, this bag potentially is just going to zero because I don't really know if I'm going to stop myself out for another 50%, maybe. Who knows? I guess it just depends on what's going on at the time. Because if it doesn't stop there, then it's probably going to come down to these lows again. It's looking like it could be a good spot. I know these like to draw down from all-time high, like anywhere from 70 to 90%. So the top of it is 60, the bottom of it is 75%. So yeah, it could very well go all the way back down. It's tough. Maybe buy some there and hope that it goes back up. And then if not, just be okay with it going to zero. I had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candle days. I don't remember who I learned this from, but they said that's the life cycle of some of these too, is like 6 to 9 days of up. And then sometimes they have another cycle, but you just got to be careful if you're playing it because there's however much you put in. Say you put in $500 throughout the zone, you just have to be okay with that turning into $0. That's what I'd recommend. Buy some here that you're okay with losing and hope that it goes up, because it could and it should, but who knows? Nobody's excited about this. Sorry, Cryptics.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Thanks for checking that out. I'll bring GForce up.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thanks for everybody being here. I'm going to cover the legacy markets as we talked about, the SPX, NASDAQ, DYX, VIX, and also I'm going to add in this time the US 10-year Treasury bond, and we'll look at the yield on that and see what that's telling us. It might not be much, but we'll take a look. So on the S&P 500, we're looking at a slow day today, but as I have on the chart, there's a gap that started way back in first part of August, and this gap will basically be filled in. I always tell people that the gaps are filled in on a daily chart. All my charts are daily, so if you guys follow what I do, that the daily chart is king. So we're looking at basically it will fill in this gap and run up to 45.67, which is interesting. 4567, interesting number. But anyway, it should run up to that. Whether it runs up this week or next week, the gap will be filled in. Right now, you look at the standard deviation line is pretty sideways at the moment. So I don't know if there's any catalyst for it to bump up. The news this week for the economic calendar, there's not much. The only thing that's significant, if it's significant, is the services, the PMI comes out on Wednesday, as well as the Fed Beige Book. Now, the Fed Beige Book is basically the minutes for the Fed a couple weeks out. So we get to look at their minutes, what they talked about, if there's any dissension on their decisions, things of that nature, who dissented. But it really doesn't drive the market much because everybody pretty much knows it already. So I'm looking for that gap to be filled at this number 40 eventually. Again, whether it's this week or next week, I don't know, but there's a lot of sideways market action right now with S&P. Moving on to NASDAQ. NASDAQ actually pushed a little bit higher. As you can see, last week it hit a high, recent high, not a yearly high or a 52-week high, but it touched the upper Bollinger Band last week, and now it fell back a little bit, but it's going to be going sideways, I think, as well. The NASDAQ has been leading the S&P 500. So I don't know what to tell you with that. NASDAQ is also AI driven all the way through. So as AI gets more and more into the news, I think the news has peaked. I think the AI kind of news at the moment, unless something new changes. But sideways or upward for the NASDAQ, that's what it looks like right now. Moving on to, we're going to go to dollar index. It's pushing higher. As you guys can see, is pushing very high. You can see I put back here where the BRICS announcement was. It was on back here on the 24th. And that announcement date, it just went up. The DXY just went up. It peaked the following day. And then it pulled back. Curiously, it pulled back to the standard deviation line. Right here. Okay. It traded below it the next day and then just pushed higher. It formed a double top. I was assuming it was a double top, but it looks like it's not because today it's pushed up significantly. The reason being, I feel that it's pushed up significantly today is because cash is king. The news is that China and Saudi Arabia, which Saudi Arabia is the new BRICS member, one of the many new BRICS members, they are selling U.S. bonds by the hundreds of billions. So they're selling the bonds, and what do you get when you sell a U.S. bond? You get U.S. dollars. So that is pushing it higher. You can see my yellow line that I have here that was a high all the way back here on May 30th, the end of May. So it's pushed back that. And I was thinking it would, but I didn't know if it was going to be resistance, a major resistance. But with China and Saudi Arabia selling all kinds of our bonds, hundreds of billions of our bonds, then they're getting cash for it, U.S. cash. So that means the DXY goes up. Does that mean crypto goes down? I don't know. I'm still not convinced on the inverse correlation for that, but a lot of people think so. So I'm not a big fan of that. VIX is next. I bring in the VIX because of the option trading that we do on a weekly basis. The VIX is very important. So the VIX has popped up just a little bit. It's popped up trying to get above that $14 range. It did today, and then it just fell back. So you can see, though, it formed what I have is, this is the $13, but it's the 13 range. It had a bottom way back here on June 21st, and then it bottomed out on Friday, and then it's popped back up again. So this bottom seems like it is going to be a hard bottom, but the VIX has broken on to that point the last week, and a little bit more than the week, a little bit more like 10 days, 10 trading days. So hopefully the VIX gets back up to the standard deviation line. Will it? I don't know. Probably will, because the standard deviation line will fall as the VIX increases. Again, the VIX is the fear gauge. So if the market's climbing, the VIX is going to go down. If the market is dropping, the VIX is going to go up. So it's one-sided. It's a fear gauge, and it's one-sided. So it only captures if there's major fear in the markets. The last I'm going to do is the US 10-year bond, and we're going to look at the yield on this. And so today is very flat. It's right at the standard deviation line. So there is an inverse correlation between the S&P 500 and the legacy markets and the 10-year U.S. bond yield. The inverse correlation is magnified nowadays because the Fed is raising rates or they're pausing. As you guys know, if the yield goes up, it means the bond value goes down. So the yield should start popping up again because of, again, China is selling our bonds as well as Saudi Arabia. The other issue is that the U.S. now has a $33 trillion government debt. $33 trillion. So a trillion is a number we think we know, but when I ask people, do you know how much $1 trillion is? Everybody says, oh yeah, I know. But here's a context and an example. If you go back to the time of Christ, which is over 2,000 years ago, and you spend $1 million every single day for over 2,000 years, you still don't get to $1 trillion. And we're sitting at $33 trillion debt. That could also be a reason why China is selling our bonds and Saudi Arabia is as well. But that's an analogy I always like to give people to give context of how much $1 trillion really is. So this week, not much going on news-wise, economic news for the legacy markets, but we got just the beige book, and the services PMI number comes out on Wednesday. All right, Pepe, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, well, that's it for this week. Remember, as a member of DeFi-Logic, you can post requests in the Daily Dose forum, and we'll review your coins, assets, and tradable proxies in the next call. Also, DeFi-Logic members interested in alpha testing our ETH spot trading indicator and new XRP strategy developed by Cryptix. The service is free until we launch. Also, DeFi-Logic is a premium service for members that join prior to public launch. As an early member, you'll gain free lifetime access to the server with steep discounts on other products and services we develop in the future. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time at 12 p.m. Mountain Time on Tuesday. GN friends.
Join us next week in Discord for TA Tuesday at DeFiLogic.com.